Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't think it's hard to predict or foresee the next move of countries around the world. I'm talking about in their relationship, because they act like people, because they are run like people, and they have interests. You just have to divide it on needs and interests. For instance, we have certain kind of needs and interests as humans. As countries, you have them a little bit different, but still resources, food, how much taxes you get, how much you spend, the same as the regular, how much income comes in the home and how much you spend, and you balance the books and so on. The same, you have the urges of certain things. So it's not hard actually to predict the move and what the other side is going to do, because the relationship is dictated by humans. And once you know or you are familiar with human psychology or mass psychology, it's not hard to, as I said, predict. Now what happens here? You have one country that used to have the hegemony of this planet, which was United States of America since about 1991 until 2022. It was the sole leader, not really leader, but did whatever it wanted, really. Broke whatever policies, the world order was all dictated and was created in such a way that benefits this particular country, which was, breaking any kind of rules it wanted without repercussions from anybody else, because if someone did something, punch in the face, that's it. Or if they wanted something, they just went and grabbed it. That's why they don't have any skills nowadays in diplomacy. Blinken and Clinton, these guys were takers, not give and takers. In diplomacy, you need some flair, you need this, you have to be able to create develop a personal relationship with the other foreign minister in order to, to discuss, like you go in a bazaar, you have equal rights, you and the guy, the seller and the buyer. Okay, you make a joke here, you create a little bit of report, and then you try to get a discount. The same is in international relationship, but these guys were different. They were the buyers, and sometimes when they were the buyers, they said, I would like to buy that product. Well, instead of being a negotiation, it was hand on the gun. I want that thing. How much you offer? No, I don't like that price. You know what I mean? That's how it was. So then you lose the skill of negotiations. And 2022, this status quo was challenged by the situation in Ukraine, by the Russians who reacted to this situation. Now, the whole balance that is like the harmony, the good work towards the building the hegemony, strengthening it, was shattered. Now countries run and try to create a new club, an opposite club to the plantation. United States is plantation, as I always mention. And these countries that were kicked in the teeth by the guy who did not know how to negotiate, probably gonna find a safe space in the other side, which is Russia, China, India, Brazil, South Africa, Iran, probably Turkey, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, all the bad dudes. But nevertheless, it seems like only we are the good ones, and everybody else who they don't do what we want, they're bad dudes. So it seems like we are about one country, and we have about 35 weasels that do what we tell them. Therefore, they're good dudes. That's the NATO, European Union, Australia, Canada, Japan, kind of about it. And then we have everybody else who don't listen to us when we tell them something. We have to smack them. We have to put effort to make them do what we want. And some, they don't do whatsoever. So those are about, 150 other countries on this planet out of 193. I give them about, 43 countries that here, the rest, 3/4 are on the other side, the bad dudes. But there are too many. We're going to bring democracy never over there and freedom and all that. So what happened here? Those guys get together. They are the isolated ones. We are the ones who isolate them. It's like you go to a club or go to a party and you and Gigi. and there's about 50 over there, and you say, I don't like you, I want you to do this. If you don't do this, I'm isolating you, I'm not talking to you. I want you to do this. No, you don't want to do this, I'm going to isolate you. And I do this to all those 50 people at the party. But me and Gigi, we are the ones who isolate everybody. Now, who's isolating? We are isolating ourselves from the other 50s because they do not do what we want them to do. Therefore, we isolate them because they're bad dudes. So, those 50 don't care about these guys. These guys are not the center of the universe as they think. Remember the sanctions were supposed to destroy Russia? Because they thought by imposing the first round of sanctions on Russia, they will destroy Russia. They will bring Russia to do whatever they want, like a narcissist. The silent treatment to make you do what I want by, I'm not going to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you in the first place, so fuck off. I'm going to go and talk with the rest of the world, basically. And you remain, we isolated them, didn't we, Gigi? Yeah, but we're only two. It's okay, we isolate everybody. Yes. Cuckoo. Now we have Russia and North Korea, two isolated countries that come together. Not only militarily, it seems like economically as well. Russia just delivered again, or ramped up its delivery of oil to the sanctioned country of North Korea. Remember the woodchuck and his sister? His sister is more dangerous than the woodcock, I guarantee you that. But we learned that women's are, she's one of the kind. Anyway, so what's going on here? Russia started giving North Korea oil. It has to report it to the United Nations because North Korea is sanctioned by the United Nations, and it can receive but a certain kind of tons quantity of oil per year. And if you give them oil, you have to report it to the United Nations. The United Nations says, okay, we add, and I say, okay, nobody can give any more to North Korea because it filled its quota, and that's it. But this guy's, the woodchuck is not an imbecile, so he does other things in the sea, transferred illicit and all that, like others as well. But hey, we are good, they're bad. So now we find out that the Russians and the North Koreans, after Mr. Woodchuck sent a little letter to Putin saying that we want to hold hand and we together build a great they're ramping up their isolation. So it's two that are isolated with China and others that defend themselves from the peacekeeping country of the United States that crossed the Pacific Ocean to come and help everybody in the neighborhood, which is Japan and South Korea and Taiwan. So let's go in this little article here. Russia turns oil tap for North Korea back on as US warns on weapons. Too late. The woodchuck is right here. This guy is right here. Not too happy. Look at this guy. Army of defenders. This is per Bloomberg, and I also have Russia Today, but let's go with Bloomberg a little bit. Russia has resumed sending oil to sanctions-hit North Korea for the first time since 2020. Deepening cooperation between the two nations and the US claims also includes sending arms from Pyongyang to help the Kremlin's war in Ukraine. I think you bet they will do that. And here they tell you how much they sent and how they're supposed to send it, they're not supposed to send it. North Korea is allowed, right here, this is important right here. Now that the other thing was not important, but North Korea is allowed to import 500,000 barrels of oil a year under the UN sanctions regime. But it has found ways to get around the measures, such as using ship-to-ship transfer of commodities on the high seas. Why not? You follow rules, we follow them as well. We follow you. Russia Today. UN reveals new Russian oil supplies to North Korea. Nothing illegal here. It's just these guys are scared that Russia and North Korea are going to create an alliance together with China and everybody else over there. Exports of oil from Moscow to Pyongyang have resumed after a 2-year halt, the UN Sanctions Committee says. The halt was because the North Koreans stopped it because of coronavirus. That's what they said. I read this little thing here. And I'm going to read the last thing here. Cooperation between Moscow and Pyongyang has gained momentum in recent months. On Tuesday, North Korean Foreign Minister Cho Sun-hui said that, important here in quotation mark, Strategic cooperation between the two countries has never been stronger, characterizing it as a new heyday in bilateral ties. So you are busy creating, hegemony over here, and those guys are running away and they create their own stuff. I'm expecting Russia and China and the other side, the BRICS countries, on the foundation of the BRICS countries, to create their own, institutions. Apart from the ones that are over there, and they are under the control of the Western countries, as the Russians claim, and the Chinese. So they say, we're not going to follow those rules. We're going to just withdraw. We're going to get out of those institutions. We're going to create ours under our rules, which, as long as it's nothing from the United Nations and it's just an international thing, they can break out, create theirs, and say, oh, this is our alternative. You want to discuss? Okay, we discuss as two opposite sides, and you have to negotiate. The problem is, I told you how the United States learned how to negotiate in the past 30 years, like that, with a handgun out and cocked. Click, ready. So I'm guessing they're going to be losing because they have Blinken now, and Blinken is not they had Hillary Clinton, another, Jesus Christ, and so on. So, good job. You created a lot of balance and, harmony on this planet. But it would have been happening sooner or later, not in Ukraine, somewhere else, because these guys were becoming two, and the big boss would not allow that. But the big boss did not want to appear as being the bad boy. It's just the perfect country, which I don't think such a thing exists. But anyway, it's a fantastic country that these guys are ruining it. That's the problem. And it's going down, down, down. They don't understand that they have to give and take. They're not the strongest guy in the parking lot or in the schoolyard anymore. But they are not ready to let go of that ideology or mindset. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.